Good morning. It is Wednesday, looking at downtown Indianapolis with the skyline in the background, but it's the clouds that we're focusing on this morning because it's kind of getting us starting off a little bit warmer. We're glad you're up with us here on 13 Sunrise. It is 6 o'clock. Again, it's Wednesday, and I know you're like, Julia, we don't want to hear about anything being warmer, but the clouds are actually going to keep us cooler later today, too.
Yeah, maybe you're sick of the heat, but the clouds sticking around keeping us warmer for now are starting some changes.
And even a spot of rain on the radar. It is a weird morning across central Indiana. It's been quite some time since we've talked about rain on radar, and while it's not a lot, we will see a spotty shower or two today as we're starting to change up our weather pattern. Been watching the sky from downtown up to Carmel and really across the northern half of the state as cloud cover is starting to become a little more widespread. We've been watching the clouds kind of thin back out in the Carmel area as we watch more widespread organized rainfall floating just to the north of Indiana. We've got clouds that have started to build in on the south side of that. And again, a little bit of moisture that we're starting to tap into, and that is presenting a few stray showers mainly across the northern half of the state. And these are very, very spotty. In fact, I think a lot of this is probably evaporating before it even hits the surface, but still worth mentioning around the Pendleton area, southern Hamilton County, getting ready to push into northern portions of Hancock County. A spot of rain going to be possible over in that zone. Slightly more organized rain has now developed in northern Indiana. We've got some light rain near Huntington, as well as some scattered showers that have been developing up near South Bend. Now, temperature-wise, these numbers are elevated because of some of the overnight cloud cover. Still 58 in Peru, 56 in Kokomo, and 60 here in Indy. Later on today, though, it's just not going to get as warm. We hit 80 yesterday. We're going to stay in the low 70s today, changing up again our weather pattern. Not expecting widespread rain today, a stray shower, but that's going to really ramp up this weekend. We'll talk about an incoming cold front and some storm chances set to arrive Saturday into Sunday. It is 6:02 now. We'll get you back out to the traffic center, show you a couple views. This one from the north side because we've been watching again some of that spotty rain over near Pendleton. We've got a camera fired up right here along State Road 38 and I-69. Does look like, again, we are watching some clouds in this zone, but I don't think that rain is falling at such a clip that it's actually going to make this pavement wet or cause any major issues. Perhaps just having to use your windshield wipers from time to time. Now we'll take you downtown where we are starting to see some brake lights along this stretch of 65 northbound coming off of Raymond Street and approaching the South Split. A very busy spot as we get into that peak morning rush. Not a major backup, but right now we are seeing about a 5-minute slowdown going into the South Split.
Thank you, Lindsay. Some new details we've learned now about a shooting that left 3 people hurt. Now we know that a 46-year-old man is facing multiple charges connected to this incident.
Marina Silva spent the morning sifting through new court documents. Marina, what can you tell us?
Well, good morning, ladies. We're learning that this shooting all started over medication not being ready at a CVS drive-thru. And we're also learning that 2 of the women that were shot were employees at that CVS. So court documents say an argument started when 46-year-old Terry Rowe Jr. was in the drive-thru lane picking up prescriptions for his wife. It also says he got upset and continued to harass the pharmacy tech outside as she waited for her ride home. Now, after the tech's boyfriend arrived to pick her up, surveillance video shows the boyfriend talking to Rowe outside. That's when police say Rowe pulled a gun and started shooting, hitting the pharmacy tech outside and another employee inside. Police say the pharmacy tech's boyfriend returned fire. Within an hour, police say Rowe showed up at a local hospital for a gunshot wound. The boyfriend was questioned by police and later released. Police were able to find and arrest Rowe this week. He's charged and facing a $150,000 bail. Now, if he can bond out, online court records say he will be on a GPS monitoring system and he'll be remanded to his home and he'll have to stay there. He also has a no contact order with that CVS on 10th and Sherman. We do know that he will be in court tomorrow morning. Back to you, ladies.
All right, we'll learn some new details then. Thank you, Marina.
Also this morning, we're digging into details around a deadly shooting in central Georgia that claimed the life of a woman from Indianapolis.
The victim's friends call it a senseless tragedy, and investigators say this is a case of misidentification. Erica Anderson was shot and killed by her roommate at their apartment in Columbus, Georgia. Investigators say that her roommate had been receiving threats and she heard a noise. She walked into the hall with a pistol and she fired 2 shots in the dark, with at least one of them shooting Erica.
Erica was returning back to Georgia after visiting her husband, Andy, and their 3 kids here in Indianapolis. In a statement read by a friend, Andy says the family is devastated.
Our family is still in shock as we try to comprehend how something so horrific could happen. Erica was taken from us far too soon at only 41 years old in an act of violence that never should have occurred.
Now, to make things even worse, Erica's husband is currently undergoing treatment for prostate cancer. Erica took the job as a theater professor at Columbus State University to help support her family. Here at home, the Johnson County coroner Michael Pruitt is pleading not guilty to 14 charges.
He is now under 2 no-contact orders, and he's turned himself in on a warrant. Michael Pruitt is facing 7 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor and 7 counts of furnishing alcohol to a minor. Court documents allege that Pruitt texted a 17-year-old about alcohol multiple times while mentoring her in 4-H. A detective also says that he found photos of Pruitt and that teen drinking together.
The Johnson County Sheriff's Office confirms he was transferred to the Brown County Jail for safety and security reasons. Online court records show a special judge from Hancock County is now assigned to this case. That judge set a $3,000 bond. Pruitt is due back in court in December.
Fox Sports analyst Mark Sanchez is due back in court next week now.
And there could be a new judge in this case. That's because new court documents show the Marion County judge assigned to the case has filed to recuse herself. The court documents didn't elaborate as to why.
Sanchez is facing several charges, including felony battery. Police say he got into a fight with another man in downtown Indianapolis. He is expected to appear in court virtually. That court date has been moved up a couple weeks. The U.S. Senate has again rejected the House-passed government funding bill to keep the government back open.
It's the 8th time the bill has failed since this shutdown started on October 1st. There's no resolution in sight as lawmakers on both sides are digging their heels in. This is now the 5th longest shutdown in U.S. history. Some dealers at the Horseshoe Casino in Shelbyville say they've been dealt a bad hand.
Well, now they're threatening to strike because of it. Anna Chalker is in studio with why this group says they have no choice but to do this. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning, ladies. Those dealers tell us there's really a lot of factors that led them to this strike, but the main reason is that the game has changed over the years. So more than 200 dealers have authorized this strike, and they say this is a long time coming since their union election was delayed by that government shutdown. Dealers say this isn't about pay, but about their right to organize, and that the family atmosphere at the casino has disappeared over the last few years. One even tells us they feel the job is not respected anymore by the casino and even the people playing.
It's also about 6 weeks to get certified with a state gambling license, and to be treated as an unskilled laborer, completely unfair, because we work hard on our craft and all of the dealers are so passionate about our job and our people.
We have reached out to Caesars Entertainment, who owns the casino, about this potential strike. The company says it, quote, values its long-standing relationship with labor unions, including those currently representing team members at Horseshoe Indianapolis. And they also say they're committed to ensuring team members can exercise their legal right to vote in a union election. So this union, they did file paperwork for a supervised election, but we still have to wait on that because the federal board is still shut down from the government shutdown, something you probably didn't think about, especially going to a casino. Yeah. But the Horseshoe, they tell us everything's going to run smoothly right now until all of this coming up. Now, this is going to impact all the people wanting to play within the coming days. So coming up, we'll tell you kind of exactly how this could impact you if you're heading out there in the next few days.
And you touched on this, but this was just such a thought you wouldn't think of, a trickle-down effect of the government shutdown. Thank you, Anna.
Also this morning, more than half of Indiana voters say the state is going in the wrong direction.
And this is according to a new poll that was just released by Independent Indiana. The group hired a firm called North Star Opinion Research to survey more than 600 voters in Indiana, and the poll found that 53% of voters think the state is headed in the wrong direction.
Around 49% say they do not favor President Trump, and 43% say they're unhappy with Governor Braun. The survey also found a majority of voters are against redistricting.
Hoosier voters are not in favor of redistricting. 53% of them say that this is a bad idea and they don't want it. Only 34% support redistricting.
Now, we did get a response to this poll from the state Republican Party.
And it says, quote, this poll is deja vu of every other unreliable political poll that claimed Mike Braun's campaign was struggling, only for him to win with the largest margin of victory for Indiana governor in more than 40 years. Independent Indiana may underestimate Governor Braun, but Hoosier voters have demonstrated that they are confident in the governor's agenda, end quote.
We have more from these poll numbers and some of the responses for you at WTHR.com.
White House border czar Tom Homan was at the Indiana State House yesterday.
He was part of a conversation about what Indiana lawmakers can do to help the Trump administration when it comes to immigration. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita hosted this event. Homan told legislators and lawmakers to do whatever they can to help make the state safer.
I know Indiana stepped up with some detention operations. I know your law enforcement officers want to do the right thing. Look, when it comes to the detainer issue, I'll tell you right now, you don't have to hold them a minute past you normally hold them on the detainer. Just call ICE before you release them, and we'll be right there.
A handful of protesters were outside the House chambers with a message of their own. They say state leaders are more concerned with being loyal to the White House than to Hoosiers.
Some federal workers' unions are fighting layoffs that have come since the government shut down. Why they're taking government leaders to court over this.
And keeping kids safe on social media, what parents can do to help their kids navigate it all. That's still ahead.